Sure.
Hey, how are you? Welcome back.
Hello, nice to see everybody.
Good to see you. There you go. You say Rich is coming?
He should be coming, yes.
How's the baby?
Oh, she's great.
Couldn't take her in with you?
I have to go over there today.
Couldn't take her in with it?
I could have, I
Kicked
thought
off the
about it.
Sit down to Nick and Richard. The only person missing is Mike. Doctor?
I'll be right back.
That's just 4 months.
Dr.
We went and got a whole bunch of shots today, poor thing.
Nah.
What's her name?
Ava.
Yeah. Niece. There was a town today, or a state, some of the state that they were telling the people not to get measles shots, which I didn't get.
Which ones? Because I got a whole bunch today. I don't know if I want to hear this.
Which one? I think it was out in Michigan or someplace.
Missouri, probably.
We got enough shots.
Okay,
Take them all.
I think we're all ready here,
Good.
so
Okay.
we'll go ahead and get started.
Commence the madness.
Yes, it's been a while here. So my name is Nick
Yeah.
Krimp. I'm the conservation agent in the city of Leominster. Before we get started, I'll just ask everyone to please silence any devices you might have on you so we don't have any interruptions. And with that, I will take a roll call of the commissioners present.
With somebody else.
Yes. Chuck Raymond.
Here.
Richard Gullick.
Here.
Bob Seacard.
Here.
Jim Chambers.
Here.
Stephanie Quinlan.
Here.
And Nick Benty. And absent is Mike Seeke, but we have 6 out of 7, so that was a quorum. And I will hand it over to my chair, Chuck Raymond.
What's the date and the time?
Oh, it is, thank you, Rich. It is February 27th, 2024, and we are starting here at 6:03. Thank you.
6:03.
Do you have a copy of that agenda, Nick? Printed? No,
Not,
not right now.
Yes, right there.
yeah, okay.
There you go.
We're running a little behind here today,
Yeah.
sorry guys, so.
Yeah, it is being only our second meeting of the year. Oh well.
Yeah, we
Now
gotta
well.
You got
shake off the cobwebs.
All right. Well, good. Thanks, everybody. So what we'll do to right off the bat. Sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay. Is for anybody that's here for something that's not on the agenda, if there are any comments that the public has, again, for anything that's not on the agenda, if you're on the agenda, we'll get to you. Okay. Moving on then. So on the new hearings, just FYI, we're not even opening the first one, right?
Yeah, so we were set to open the NOI for Prospect Street and the improvements to the park there, but the representative is not able to make it tonight, so we're gonna reschedule that to March 12th. So any abutters here, anyone interested in Prospect Park and those improvements, we're not gonna be covering that tonight, it'll be March 12th, so.
So since
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not
we should
on the
think of-
agenda, they can make their comments.
Huh?
Since it's not on the agenda now, they can make their
I
comments.
suppose.
Oh, sure, yeah,
While they're here, we would,
If they can't make it to the next one, sure.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Are you here about Prospect Street?
I am, but I don't hear well,
Okay.
so
okay.
I missed what we just said.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So we are not covering that tonight because the representative who was gonna discuss that project, she's not able to make it. So she's gonna come in March 12th,
Okay,
so 2 weeks from today.
okay.
Um,
So, do the neighbors get like notified, and how do we get notified?
There will be an announcement, or there's a posting in the newspaper, which we did last week for today. There won't be another notice out, but the agenda is posted to the city website. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm listening.
Okay, yes, so the agenda will be posted to the city website, or you could always give me a call or call my office and check in, and I can let you know what is gonna be coming on the
So
meeting.
the next meeting is March 12th.
March 12th, 2
Correct.
weeks from today.
Can you mention how
Just get her
the butter letters went out?
Yeah, so,
I think that was part of the question.
so you did, there will not be another abutter notice. So you can't, you received a notice in the mail about the project?
We did not, my neighbor did.
Oh, okay.
And she said it came by certified mail, she had to sign for it.
Yes, yeah.
We didn't get one, I mean, well, we didn't sign for one, I only knew from my neighbor.
Right.
So her question was this, may I ask the question, or is that out of?
To keep in mind, we won't be talking about the project in detail tonight. If you have any quick questions, we're glad to answer, but again, the main
We'll just
hearing
have
will be
it.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's fine,
Mhm.
I understand that. This project around Prospect Street, and you're concerned with the Conservation Commission, right?
Yep.
It- There's a grant through the city,
Mm-hmm.
and so this project is somewhere else. And our major concern with you folks is about the conservation and that type of thing. But there's something else going on the other side that's separate from what we're discussing here.
No, are you you're talking about that other entrance on Scenic? No, there's no work planned for over there.
I'm sorry?
There's no new work or projects planned for that area. It's just improvements to the parking lot and the beginning of the trails near the parking lot.
And that's our conversation today.
That will be our
It
conversation
will be, yeah.
on the
On
12th.
March
Yes, yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Okay.
problem.
I appreciate your patience.
Oh, you're welcome.
Absolutely. No, thank you
No.
for coming.
Oh, but we just didn't get her name.
Oh, that's
Oh,
okay.
yeah, that's-
Just a
yeah.
quick question. She can come back and we'll get her name then.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're good. I appreciate the thought though, Jim, thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
good.
Thank you. I'm going to leave the meeting. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Miss, you may
Thank
not
you.
have gotten you may not have gotten the abutters notice, even if you live near there, because you'd be more than a short distance away.
Yeah.
Or it's only those who immediately abut.
Correct.
Within
Oh,
100
we
feet.
immediately
Within
abut.
100
We're-
feet.
She's right behind us.
Oh,
She's-
okay.
She's right behind us.
No,
We're at
if
87.
you immediately abut the project area,
Yeah, we're up the street.
Yeah,
a
that's
little
probably
bit.
why.
That's why you didn't get the
Right.
letter, but thank you for coming. Hope to see you March 12th.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
You bet. Have a good
I
night.
appreciate your patience.
No worries.
Absolutely. All right. Okay.
So all set with that one?
Yep.
Okay, moving on to the next one, and I'll read it into the record. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent for the construction of a billboard in a wetland buffer zone, address 198 Hamilton Street, map and parcel 236-4, DP number not yet assigned. Yeah, we want to have, we're having it available for the
Yep, nope.
the folks at home.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Good.
We just have our millions of fans.
Correct.
I noticed that was plural.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's more than one, it's
Folks.
at least two.
We did count every week.
Excellent.
Here we go.
All right.
Good?
We're good.
So, don't worry, I'll go back over there in a second. So, good evening, for the record, Justin Leclerc, McCarty Engineering, here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Clear Channel. Also with me is Scott Morrissey, one of the owners for Van Realty Trust.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are the notices and then the check for the legals.
Yes, awesome, thank you.
So, like I said, 198 Hamilton Street. I think most of you would be familiar with the site, but for those of you who are not, this is the Doors Unlimited building. This is the Roachford Law Office. This is Copley Dental. They have one more building, and then this is the vacant lot on Hamilton Street. There's a little restaurant down there.
That's it there.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Right there.
Mhm.
So, we're hearing from you tonight for the proposed billboard sign on 198 Hamilton Street. So in the red is the 100-foot buffer zone. You have the delineated wetland here, which was delineated by Ecotech and located by...
So the wetlands, the other side of Route 2.
So on the GIS, the majority of it's on the other side of Route 2.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, Ecotech did flag, on this side did provide report, and Whitbing went out and located their flags. And I
Is
have
there a
that,
culvert on Route 2?
I believe there might be, which would make sense to keep that
Yeah,
flow.
when the other folks here, for their billboard, the wetlands were down there somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, so the other thing is we came back in front of you guys a couple of years ago for the one down
Is that
here.
you? Okay.
Yep,
Mhm.
I believe it's Patrick McCarry that might have
It might have
presented
been,
that one,
yeah.
but
I think I was the only one on the commission then. Were you?
I think I was.
Were you?
This
Okay,
is-
all right.
Yeah, it's not too far from Manny's. Where is it?
Yeah, Manny's back that way.
Right that way.
Yeah,
It's
back down
up-
Hamilton
it's
Street,
up
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Near the airport, new airport 9.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's that one.
and that's
there.
this one right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So I wondered. Thanks.
So we had gone in front of ZBA for both billboard signs, had received approval,
Mhm.
permitted this one down here.
Remember that, yeah.
We were trying to figure out the location of this one, the two main reasons being there's a national grid easement that runs across all the properties
Mhm.
where they don't allow you to do anything or have anything within it. So we had to look at the best location, and there's actually a second easement here that runs parallel with this property line along the right of way that comes down here and ends here and ties into the larger utility easement. So, once we realized what those two easements were for, where we could and couldn't put the billboard sign, we came up with the location that you see tonight. So, all this is an 8-foot square column that's gonna go in the ground, and then it's gonna run up, and the billboard sign's gonna hang overhead. So the only disturbance in the ground is the 8 square feet here, which then we're gonna surround that with a stone bed to provide some sort of infiltration.
Mhm.
Technically, we are increasing impervious on site by 8 square feet, though we could deem it a de minimis impact to the site. By providing some stone around it, we're providing some recharge to the area.
Mhm.
There's a circular.
Yep,
Which is now, I assume, pavement.
yeah, it's a mix of pavement, probably compacted gravel,
Stuff,
yeah.
something that you could argue is an impervious, a mix of impervious material.
What's the diameter? Do the math for me, please. Oh, you didn't know offhand?
No, not offhand, I knew 8 square feet.
Okay.
8 divided
Um,
by 2
One
pi.
can assume 2 by 4, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, what, 6 feet diameter?
It's round, you have to pi r.
Pi r squared over 4,
We're getting sidetracked.
somewhere
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
So-
but we digress.
It's a fair question.
No,
That's easier to picture.
absolutely fair. So, say about 6 feet in diameter.
Okay.
So, the purpose of this notice of intent is to just permit the pole. Obviously, with billboard sign, there's probably gonna be some tree clearing, especially along that segment. The tree clearing is gonna occur on MassDOT's property within the Route 2 right away. Because of that, we do have to permit with MassDOT, and they would have to sign any notice of intent as the owner, which we had conversations with them, and they won't do that until they approve the tree clearing on their end. So for tonight, we just want to get the billboard approved. That way, the owner and the applicant can work together on ordering materials, getting it delivered, and at least getting the column installed. And then we'll come back, ideally with MassDOT
Okay,
approval for the tree clearing
okay.
in front of you guys.
Yeah.
So, would you remind me, Justin,
Yeah.
because I know we had talked about this, but it's been a little bit.
Yeah,
So, are you coming back for the tree clearing under a new
a
NOI?
completely separate notice of
Okay.
intent for the tree clearing.
Okay, interesting.
With, ideally, we would like to do it in one, but because it's
DOT.
multiple, it's DOT, it's multiple owners.
Is
it
that
gets-
essential for your project?
The tree clearing?
Yeah. I would not like to have that pressure on us, since if you've already built it, I'd rather have it all in one now.
I
If
don't
you
think
follow.
I don't think it would be essential.
Because the commission could turn it down, right?
In theory, yeah,
In
well, yeah,
theory.
you can turn down
If
anything.
we're, right, so
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
It,
to be official.
in theory, yes, but the amount of tree clearing that looks like is going to occur doesn't seem to be significant, and just based on the preliminary talks that we've had between MassDOT, the applicant, and the proposed tree cutter, it'd be more pruning than than cutting trees.
Okay.
I don't wanna say that there's gonna be no tree cutting, I don't wanna be held to anything, but
Mhm.
it appeared a lot of it would be pruning
Okay.
of limbs.
Mhm.
Right.
So we felt, based on all that information, and the big thing being we need MassDOT approval and MassDOT sign off as the owner, this would be the right way to go.
Okay,
So, any questions?
I do.
go ahead.
I'm just wondering, I guess under the Lady Bird Johnson Act or whatever.
Beautification, highway beautification?
Right, and there was trying to minimize billboards. Is that something you take under consideration?
So, locally, these are approved as special permits. State-wise, MassDOT has no issue with the proposed locations for both the one here at 152 and the one tonight at 198. They have started to review this as part of their process, and they had no comments in regards to location and the number that we're proposing.
Thank you.
It's my understanding that those highway beautification programs are a function of state and federal DOT programs.
Well, that's why I wondered how the highway department was.
I don't, my guess, as, not as a chair of the Concom, but as Chuck Rand, a guy who lives up in North Leominster, is that this is not a suitable location for highway beautification. And they deemed it that a while ago. That's just my guess. But, yeah, fair enough. Bob, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to have you explain, at this location for the sign, this is why you're here today, for this project
Yes.
only, and which I'm only gonna talk about too, but can you tell me the amount of area that will be disturbed, and will you be removing any vegetation or bringing in any kind of soil?
For what we're talking about tonight for the construction of the pole,
Yes.
called a 10 by 10 square
Okay.
that we're gonna disturb. No materials being brought in, we're just digging everything out. And I say 10 by 10 to account for the stone box that'll be around it. So imagine an 8-foot square column that will ideally, with this, probably be power drive into the ground. And then a little bit of a stone trench box around it, so 10 by 10 square. No vegetation. This area here is pretty much an open, this is where the gravel area
Mhm.
is. So there's no vegetation, nothing there that'd be removed as part of this.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, is that red line the wetland buffer?
That's the 100-foot buffer zone.
Okay, so you're right on the edge of the buffer?
So we're just,
No,
yeah,
that's
we're
not-
literally just inside of it.
you
Okay,
can move it 5 feet and not even be in front of it.
yeah,
So, well-
that's my follow-up question.
Great minds.
So, again, the majority of the sign, and this is kind of where it gets, we weren't entirely sure. Yeah, the pole here is ideal for what this area is, taking into consideration potential future impacts. We don't want to encroach completely on the site, but even if we move it a little bit forward, if the sign is still within the buffer, we still felt we had to come in front of the conservation, because it's still technically a structure within the buffer zone.
Okay.
Yes,
Fair
it's 50-something feet up in
Yeah.
the air,
Yeah.
but there's nowhere in the WPA that actually states
Yeah, right.
what you would have to do in
Okay.
that situation.
And you all set? Go, keep going.
Are there lights on the billboard?
Scott, do you remember?
Lighting up the billboard itself?
Yeah.
No.
No,
No?
not these ones,
So it
right?
won't be viewable at night?
Oh, no, so it is an electronic billboard.
That's the electronic
Oh,
one,
it's-
right?
So it'll be lit up in the evening like the electronics you see on
Oh,
the highway.
okay.
Screen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay, so
the
it'll be
screen
lit
is
up,
there, but there's no like floodlights or
it'll
anything.
be lit up internally, not externally?
Correct.
Okay,
The
Thank you.
screen, not the pole.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
got it.
I couldn't remember which one we were
Yeah.
proposing as electronic, thank you.
Yeah.
You all set? Okay. So I have a question. So if the red's the buffer, where's the wetland here? Is it like, I thought it was like down?
So there's a pocket,
Oh, right there.
which it pushes,
Oh.
exactly.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so as part of their delineation, they had and this is a little bit of history on the site. Ecotech came out and delineated the whole area because throughout the past few years, we permitted a piece here for Doors Unlimited.
Mhm.
We were responsible for permitting the addition for the Copley Dental.
Mhm.
So with all the work we were doing here, we had Ecotech come out and just delineate the whole area, which included here within the Route 2 right away, as well as some of the isolated vegetative wetlands.
And there's a
here.
little tiny pocket wetland right in the middle.
Yep,
Interesting, okay.
that made this one fun.
If you were to go, if you were to go to the site and you look at the edge of where where you can walk and you look into the woods, you'll see where, I don't know, 15 years ago, the previous owner had put hay bales and silt fence. Well,
Yeah.
slowly it's grown in,
Yeah.
so we
Interesting.
have a smaller
Okay.
area now.
All right,
Yep.
but it's a functional wetland under the DEP regulations?
Yes.
Interesting, okay. Okay. I don't know, anybody else have any questions?
And I know we don't have a
Oh,
DEP.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna
Oh, so
say,
no
I
DEP
know
number,
we have no
right.
DEP
Yes.
numbers, so,
Right.
but if the commission's all set, we'd obviously request a continuance to the next scheduled hearing, wait
Easy
to
enough.
see DEP comments.
Okay.
We did reach out to them, we didn't hear anything back yet, so,
Okay.
which has been the trend lately.
Yeah, yeah. I know that they just hired a bunch of people, so I know they've been short-changed,
Yep.
but hopefully that changes in the next couple months.
Yeah, short staffing issue.
Yeah.
Nick?
Justin, could you just, how big is that corridor? The
This one,
easement,
So-
easement corridor?
this one's 60 feet that comes all the way across.
Okay, okay,
This one's about 50 feet.
okay, so just, so that little ditch by the highway is the delineated wetland effectively? The little ditch in front of the.
In here?
On the north side,
Oh, hold
on the
on,
north side of the highway,
on the north side of the highway?
yeah, so that little ditch is the delineated wetland. effectively.
Yeah, so where you see the dots here, so the
Yeah.
delineation comes down and comes across
Yeah.
and pretty much runs right along the property
Yeah,
line.
and then the highway isn't
And
far
then-
beyond that.
Yeah, so this is the edge of MassDOT's right away, and the highway's further set in.
Thanks for clarifying that.
All right, good. All right, sir, you're here for a different project, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to be sure, okay. Let me get that cleared up. I appreciate it. All right. All right, so we're all set here?
Double check on the calculation.
I could see the pencil work going.
This is the confirmation.
All right, good, so with no public comment, I'll go ahead and close this portion of the hearing, or I should take, we're gonna close it and.
Yeah, close the public hearing, yeah.
Yeah, so make a motion, or accept the motion to close this
I
portion of
make
the
that
hearing.
motion to close the
Thank you,
public
Richard.
hearing.
For a second?
I can second that.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay, I'll take the rest of the commission's vote by roll call, or I'll take the whole commission's vote by roll call. Jim Chambers,
Aye.
Stephanie Quinlan,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Nick Venti,
Aye.
Richard Gulick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
And then, well, we have,
Yeah, hold on a second.
yeah,
You don't have to stand there, you
Okay.
can go over there if you want.
so that's the public, and then,
Yeah, so then,
Thanks for
so we'll have to continue, so accept the motion to continue until the March 12th hearing.
I so move
Thank you, Richard.
Continue that.
Second?
for March 12th.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jim.
all right, I'll take the commission's vote by roll call. Jim Chambers,
Aye.
Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
Nick Venti,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Richard Gulick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, so hopefully we'll have a number by March 12th, so.
Yes,
All right, thank you, Justin.
if you hear about the DEP number before I do, if you could just let me know, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
You bet, have a good night.
Good night.
All right, moving on. Read into the record. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a request for a determination of applicability for the installation of underground conduit in the riverfront area of Newsnack Brook. Address Mechanic Street, map and parcel 16-5. Is that you?
Yep, that's me.
Okay.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah, if you can just introduce yourself for the record.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Erasmo de Cruz.
You can bring a chair up if you want to sit at the table. or stay in there, it's up to you.
Say your last name again?
Erasmida Cruz, ERASMEDACRUZ. It's unusual. I get that a lot.
I guarantee it's not unusual.
Well, I
We're-
have to twice. Especially when I'm trying to spell.
And
Yeah.
who are you representing?
Representing the Massachusetts Electric Company, National Grid, Vehicle. I'm sure you're well acquainted with them.
Yes.
So yeah, so pretty much this project will be for the installation of approximately 5 feet or so of underground conduit, and also as a handhold within BLSF, RFA, downfield buffer zone as well, all associated with Moose Brook. And this will be done within a small grassy area in the parking lot of Mechanic Street. And pretty much during the installation, all the soils will be put and set aside during construction. That'll be used to backfill the trenches afterwards. Disturbed areas will be stabilized, restored to pre-existing conditions as well, and all the BMPs will be used to make sure nothing terrible happens to resource areas nearby.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty much after that, we're pretty much seeking a negative determination for the project to go.
So -2?
Yes,
Okay.
for the project to continue, to proceed, sorry.
Can you, I'm sorry, didn't mean to-
Oh, no,
are you all set?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, quick question, so can you, well, all we have is Mechanic Street, can you tell us where on Mechanic Street this is gonna be?
It's in a parking lot.
There's the parking lot for the,
I have it on the drive, I don't have it printed out.
Okay.
is it in that parking lot for the apartment buildings down there?
No,
Corner
it's
of
like-
Mechanic and Water Street?
No.
No.
something
Actually, I do.
You do? Perfect, that'll be really helpful. I should have brought more.
Oh, we
That's
all
my-
have phones that you look it
It's
up.
it's the lot between Manning Street and the Fix, effectively, right?
Yes, I know there's a bank near
There's
that as well.
the culvert goes, the Newsnack Brook flows under the parking lot. right?
Yeah.
And the particular location of the underground culvert starts effectively at the western corner of where that parking lot, or where the river goes under, ducks
Yes.
under the parking.
Yeah, there's a little strip of maintained grass alongside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the little greenway, and then the
Common
proposed-
downtown.
culvert runs, or the conduit runs north
Yeah,
from there.
Exactly.
It's right off of,
It's the,
Monument Square, right near Monument Square.
yeah, on the other side of the fix.
Oh,
On the other side.
oh,
Right.
right.
The river walk.
Right down.
Downtown.
Is that-
Or where
is-
they're all
Is that Brady's right there?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
And Brady's.
All right, yeah.
All right, so it's
Between
it's
that-
right there?
Between
Yep.
Brady's.
Oh,
Yes,
all
is
right.
that a little
Corner
earlier?
Yep.
All right.
And the Fix.
Jenny's.
Yes.
Got it.
So, very low impact, I just asked me to come in here and present on it because of the fact that it's just right next to the Manusnak Brook. So.
Yeah, it's our main concern as well, but.
Okay.
So you said it was a 5 feet of underground conduit.
Approximately, yeah.
So is that 5 feet in length, like
Yes.
running north?
Yeah,
Okay, just from the grassy area
yeah,
to the north?
yeah, all vice versa, pretty much similar. Yeah.
Anybody have any other questions for Erasmi? Is that there?
Sir.
Okay. No? Nick, what do you have?
So, yeah.
Actually, we should, RDA, do we have to close this portion here before we?
Yeah, the
Oh,
public.
yes, yeah.
All right,
Say
so
here.
no,
You
we
had
have.
to ask the public, wherever they're,
Yeah.
and then at home.
Right.
and then-
No, there are no representative of the public here, so I'll go ahead and close this portion. Well,
Chuck, I
Take-
got-
take-
I
oh.
just got a quick question on the power. I don't know if you said it or I didn't hear it right. What type of power is this? Is this three-phase or
I am not aware of that, to be honest.
are you representing the power company?
Yes, but just as a consultant, so that sounds more like engineering. I'm not really aware of the phases, but
You're designing the conduit coming across?
no,
So,
just environmental.
yeah, he's the wetland guy representing
Yeah.
that. He's not an electrical
Not the
engineer.
I'm not engineer.
so you can't answer any
I
type
can't.
of
And
questions.
is that germane to the, or is he just curious?
No, I'm just wondering what is going across in the conduit.
No, I understand, but it's a conduit, whether it's three-phase or 26-phase. I'm not an electrical engineer, as you can tell. I don't think it's really germane to the. It'd be kind of neat to know, but I really don't think it has any impact on the,
If we don't find out.
correct, yeah, yeah.
So, I was curious, I noticed that in that area, in that downtown area, there are no power lines, there are no overhead power lines. Is that because the entire area?
A lot of it's
A lot
all
of
underground,
It's
yeah.
all underground.
Most of it's underground, yeah.
So there is some benefit to having.
I hadn't even noticed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they stop at some point along, you
Yeah.
drive up Mechanic Street, and it's about this place, they stop. I was looking for trees on Mechanic Street and thinking like, there's no room for Mechanic Street, there's no room for trees
Interesting.
with all the wires.
Yeah.
But when you get to downtown, everything's buried,
Yeah,
which allows for some
interesting, okay,
green public space
right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
potential.
Okay, I will then entertain a motion to close the public hearing portion of the hearing.
So moved.
Thank you, Richard. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Stephanie.
I'll take the commission's vote by roll. Jim Chambers,
Aye.
Stephanie Quinlan,
Aye.
Nick Benty,
Aye.
Richard Gulick,
Aye.
Bob Secard,
All right.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Okay. All right.
That said, so he was recommending a -2. What are your thoughts on the matter?
I would also recommend that we determine this as a -2. That is that the activity proposed is going to be within the resource, or within,
Buffer area?
yeah, within the riverfront area, but it will not be impacting the resource area.
Okay,
So
all right.
I would recommend -2.
All right, well, with that then, I will entertain a motion for a -2 determination for the project.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Stephanie.
I'll take the commission's vote by roll. Jim Chambers.
Aye.
Steph Quinlan.
Aye.
Nick Venti.
Aye.
Bob Secard.
Bob?
Yeah, I have just a bit more questions. There's no oil in this pipe. There'd be no oil in this
No,
pipe.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
good.
Okay.
Okay. Richard Gulick
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right. That's 6-0, motion passes.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to
Nice to meet you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
I'll get that sent out to you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, nothing under continued hearings. Under the regular meeting, first is certificate of compliance. 883 Pleasant Street, DP number 199-1142.
Yeah, so, for those of you who were here in our meeting in January, you might remember this, did come up before. It was for the construction of a single-family house. And the house had been built, everything had been completed, but just before our previous meeting on January 9th, I think it was, we got that heavy snowstorm that buried the yard, so I wasn't able to confirm that the lawn had been installed and properly, taken root. The snow has since melted. I've done an inspection 2 weeks ago, and the grass is in fact in. Everything has been built to plan, so I would recommend that we issue a complete certificate of compliance.
All right. Any
When-
questions?
When was that completion, that construction completed?
Sometime last year.
I was gonna say, I drove by that house, it didn't look brand new. I mean, it looked,
Yeah.
Yeah,
They,
okay.
they were still constructing it last spring
Yeah.
at some point. I'm not
Okay.
sure when they finished it completely, but yeah.
okay.
It's been done since before the winter.
Okay.
All righty. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the certificate of compliance for 883 Pleasant Street.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Thank you.
A second over here.
Yeah. I'm on a roll.
I'll take the commission's vote by roll. Jim Chambers.
Aye.
Stephanie Quinlan.
Aye.
Nick Venti.
Aye.
Bob Secard.
Aye.
Richard Gulick.
Aye.
And Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes.
Good, thank you all. Moving on, Marcelo Ave, DP number take my glasses up, 199-959. So one of those people has to take the glasses off to read.
Yeah, so the order in question here was for the construction of a road extension and a cul-de-sac running into there in preparation for, it was either several single-family houses or one apartment building, I think that they were planning on building there. Whatever the plan was, that road extension and the cul-de-sac was never constructed. The work down there never proceeded, and everything is as it was, prior to the issue of this order. So I would suggest that we issue a invalid certificate of compliance, which just states that no work was ever done, and that it's not planned on being done. Any new work would require a new filing of an NOI.
All right. Thank you, Nick. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve an invalid certificate of compliance for Marcelo Ave, 199-959.
I'd like to make that motion.
Thank you, Robert. Second?
I'll second that.
Oh, thank you, Nick.
Getting greedy over here.
Didn't think anyone was saying that.
All right, I will take the commission's vote by roll call. Jim Chambers,
Aye.
Stephanie Quinlan,
Aye.
Nick Menti,
Aye.
Bob Secord,
Aye.
Rich Fellick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right.
Rich, you went on that sidewalk with us a couple years ago, right? Dead end street off of Route 13, just north of the railroad bridge in North Leominster. Going to the railroad bridge, up to take a left. No?
Trying to remember.
We waited and walked through the woods. We ended up walking down towards the railroad tracks. No big deal.
There we came over the big spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you came down and
yeah,
to the factory that was getting wet.
right,
That one?
yeah.
Okay, I do remember.
Okay,
that.
I didn't want to delay it, I was just curious.
That's okay.
All right,
Is that near there?
so next one, 1775 Lock Drive, number 199-1036.
Yes, so again, for the people that were here in January, you might remember Matt Morrow came in to present on this. There's been some ongoing controversy down there because the warehouse and the cannabis store next door that were built under that file number, that 199-1036, there was a lot of extra stuff going on down around the warehouse. There was no curb put in where there's supposed to be a curb. There's a bunch of trucks parked all over the place far into the riverfront area past where they should be. So Matt Morrow had come to us before and requested a partial certificate of compliance for this, for Lot 2, which is the lot that houses the cannabis store. You might remember Lot 2 contains an unpermitted access road that's a part of the operations going on at the warehouse there on Lot 1. However, that access road was outside of the buffer zone, so that was a point of discussion in the January meeting. However, there is an area behind that building that is within the wetland buffer that
Behind the cannabis.
store as a part of Lot 1, which is the part of the job that Matt was seeking the certificate of compliance for, Lot 1. Part of Lot 1 extends back into that disputed area where there's trucks parked and parts laying around. So I was planning on going back there and confirming that all of that stuff had been removed from Lot 1 and therefore bringing Lot 1 back into compliance, at least as far as our jurisdiction goes. However, I have not done that, so I can't confirm that the trucks and the parts have been removed from Lot 1 completely. So I would suggest that we continue this until the next meeting, at which time I can confirm that. Last time I was down there several weeks ago, there were still some trucks and things parked down there.
There was something written about that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, the partial certificate of compliance for the pot store, I don't know if it's a store, but the dispensary, whatever it is.
Yep. The botanist, I believe it is.
Botanist, yeah, so. Oh, yeah, just look into that more, that'd be good. We don't need, since this is certificate of compliance, we don't need a motion to continue this, do we?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No.
It's not even, it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
So,
still is.
can I ask, Nick, is just that back in behind 1775,
Mhm.
is that the only property there that comes into the buffer zone? Or does it continue down the road?
What are you saying?
So like, behind all those buildings, is,
Along Lock Drive?
is that last one the only one where like if you go behind it, you'll get to the buffer zone? Or,
So,
because there's a whole, there's like, you walk back there and there's the whole, like behind Guido's next door,
yeah,
there's, you can, see the river from there too.
mhm.
Is 1775 the only building or the only lot back there that enters the buffer zone or contains the buffer zone?
If you look at them, no, those buildings on the right, and even the one at the end of Mohawk Drive, they're all within the 200-foot riverfront area.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
They're within the river-
But they're existing, they're already there.
Yeah, they're within the riverfront area.
Yeah.
Certainly, as far as wetland buffer goes, the botanist might be the only property
I see.
on that road that is just buffer, because there's a little, it might be a vernal pool, but there's a little wet pocket, like right off the woods next to that building. Everything else is, Lock Drive is pretty much parallel with the Nashua, so the back of all those lots
Okay.
extend into the riverfront.
But it's, they don't have an issue.
There's a lot of issues
They
down
are, they
there.
are not in front of us at this time.
Correct.
I see.
Yeah.
Right.
I see.
Yeah.
So,
Only this action.
yeah,
Yep, there are existing buildings that are in front of us. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, I am looking into it.
yeah, okay. All right, so moving on, 117 Lincoln Street, DP number 199-1081.
Yeah, so, we can discuss, okay, there are two separate orders, two separate file numbers, but 117 Lincoln Street and 125 Lincoln Street are kind of tied together. Again, they were constructed under two separate orders, but they were constructed at the same time by the same builder, which is EKC Development. EKC Development, representative from them reached out to me last week and requested a certificate of compliance for these two properties because they have been constructed, they're now done, and the certificate of compliance was just never issued. Hasn't been very long, they're relatively new buildings. However, I went out there this week and I did find the houses themselves, the buildings have been constructed to plan, they're not any larger than they should be. However, they both do have some patio area around the back. One a little bit more extensive than the other one, but there is unpermitted impervious surface in the backyard in the form of those patios that was not included on the approved order. So I'm investigating the best way to proceed with those would be, but I'm probably going to ask the current homeowners there to go through the RDA process as an after the fact thing for those patio areas because the one at least is, a pretty significant portion of the backyard. That again was not shown on the approved plan, so not asking the commission to take any action on these tonight because I don't think that we could in good faith or issue a complete certificate of compliance because of that extraneous work. But I will be looking into that and working with the homeowners on, getting those patio areas permitted, and then we can talk about closing it out with a certificate of compliance. So,
Sounds good?
Thanks.
All right, good, thank you, Nick, appreciate it.
no problem.
All right, under, sorry, are you here for a particular item, or?
Oh, no, just kind of observing, I guess. I was, the reason I'm here is because I wasn't really sure where to start as far as getting some kind of interest into downtown charging stations for electric vehicles. That's something that,
I think, appreciate your effort, but in terms of conservation commission, our job is to enforce the State Wetlands Protection Act. So unless these charging stations are within the 100-foot buffer of a wetland, chances are we, or on one of our conservation, we also oversee conservation land in town. So unless it was there, we'd have nothing to do with it.
okay, all
Aside from probably without putting words in people's mouths, being in full support. But,
Yeah, so,
but in terms of,
maybe like point me in the right direction, which,
I think that's,
Planning board.
You'd probably do
Mayor's
best to,
office.
talk about this with planning, the planning department, the
Okay.
planning board. I'm not really sure where you would start with that.
Okay.
But here's my business card. If you want to shoot me an email or something, then I can maybe connect you with, the planning board.
yeah, that'd be cool, because I know the parking garage, they just sort of,
Yeah.
let go of you with the police department, it might be someplace we could maybe start, so I'll take a look at that and
yeah,
get in touch with you.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, good luck.
Thanks for your interest.
Yeah,
Chuck,
Yeah.
finally got our non-agenda question.
that's right, that's right. I wish you'd been here at the meeting. So we're finally somebody. All right, moving on, under enforcement, unpermitted work on Elm Street, map and parcel 519-12A.
Yeah, so, the commission approved an order of conditions for a single-family house on Elm Street, right next to this lot.
The Elm High Street,
Yeah, that you might,
that some of us might remember.
yeah, some of you might remember from several years ago if you were on the commission. So that's separate from this, but just to
Yeah.
give people an idea of where it is.
Yeah.
So this lot is the one right next door to it on the corner of Elm and Hill Street. There's a little wooded
Is
swamp.
this near where the Richards is?
Yep,
Yes, across the street.
Across the street?
Yeah. Richards is like right across the street from where Elm Street, or where Hill Street comes into Elm Street. So this is right along, it's right at the corner there.
At that
Yeah,
corner.
right across the street
It was
from
Mike
Richards.
Seekey's and my very first site.
Yes.
Is that
So,
the kennel?
our fellow commissioner, Mike Seekey, was actually the one that alerted me to this on Thursday morning.
Dropped a dime on you.
Yeah, Thursday morning, he was driving by and he noticed that the lot outside, the entirety of the lot outside of the wetland had been cleared. So pretty much all of the buffer zone in that lot had been cleared. And that there was ongoing work, some machinery and some contractors out there doing some kind of cleanup. So I drove out there Thursday morning, made contact with the contractors. They had been hired by, there's a bunch of different companies and contractors involved, but going up the chain, they had been hired by the property owner there. I got in touch with the property owner, and she had agreed to go forward with the notice of intent process. I sent her a violation notice for the clearing that had already been done and explained to her the process of going through it. Yeah, so she is proceeding with that. Matt Morrow reached out to me either today or yesterday, I can't remember, but he did mention that he was contacted by that property owner. He had went out there and had delineated the wetland on site. So things are proceeding with that job. We're gonna be expecting an NOI in the in the coming weeks related to that project. But until they can secure a proper permit, all work has been ceased out there per the violation notice, so.
So you were not the agent at the time when that first
No,
area came
no, it was
over?
Angela.
No, that was right before, I think.
Like, I think maybe a site visit would be appropriate, in particular with Chuck and Mike and I
Mhm.
there, because we were there originally,
Yeah.
to see what has happened and exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mike,
And of course, everybody.
yeah, so Mike had a chance to get out there. He was the one that had noticed it in the first place, and then I was out there with him when I was speaking with the contractors last
You did
Thursday.
get out with Mike. Okay.
So Mike had been out there, he's seen the site plenty. But anyone else that's interested in going up there with me, I would be more than happy to go out there, yeah.
I'll probably just run on Friday afternoon myself. Jim?
I was just wondering, excuse me, if the contractors are involved in clearing this property, if they have any responsibility to know whether or not there's a permit to proceed?
Yeah, so that's something that I'm looking into. As far as I understand, and this is the way that we've been operating as long as I've been agent, is all the responsibility ultimately falls onto the property owner. So they're the ones that get issued the enforcement order, they're the ones that have to deal with the consequences of whatever goes on there. So it's a frustrating situation because we have found ourselves in this position before where contractors are doing work and they kind of put the blame on the property owner, even though they, you know, depending on the contractor and the type of work that they do, they really should be expected to know about the state wetland protection and all that. But everything that I've been told up to this point, everything that I know about the situation, it really ultimately falls on the property owner. I'm not sure what we could really do in terms of enforcement against contractors doing work. Because, again, any contractors that are being hired, they're being hired by the property owner. So, yeah, I know it's frustrating, especially when we see the same companies coming up again and again.
Think the call dig type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
if there was something.
You dig safe kind of thing?
Dig safe
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this utility, depending on what
Yeah.
state I'm in, is what they call it.
And I think Mike had brought up the exact same thing, like that
Concept.
it's their responsibility to.
Is there something, and we're gonna talk about our own policy, is there
Mhm.
something we could put in there that puts a little meat behind what the tree cutters are doing? Because we keep coming up with this.
Mhm.
That might be a good thing to add to our wish list for the bylaw, yeah.
Yeah, for the bylaws.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I've been on the commission, it seems like every other month.
Almost, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Like, you didn't know this?
So we had talked about advertising more,
Mhm.
and trying to get more public outreach, or something we should get back to, is talking about that again, perhaps. But is that the same owner that we dealt with last time?
It is the same owner. She
It's
is
the same owner?
she is part of a team of developers that she has lost
Who knew what? Liaison
The
was
more
staff.
words that come out of your house, the less I'm buying it.
I want a site visit, otherwise what happened?
There's some extenuating circumstances that I can get into outside the meeting, but the person that she had been working with, who was taking care of the wetland permitting and had done the permitting for example, that other lot right next door, she has lost contact with that person, so she's unaware of, she was unaware, you know, according to her, of the requirements, you know, under the Wetland Protection Act. But she's been very compliant with me ever since I did speak with her. And like I said, you know, a day or two after I spoke with her, Matt Morrow was calling me saying that he was on his way out there to delineate the wetland. So things are moving forward with it.
See how it progresses.
We'll learn more when we
Yeah.
get there.
We shall.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would be good, just familiarize yourself with that original Hill Street / Elm Street development, for lack of a better term, and then see where this is in relation to it. Because that original one was on the agenda for a while.
Yeah, we're out there for a while, it was a very nice, pretty wildflower field kind of there, a little bit.
Yeah, very
And
nice.
then there was the corner section with the culvert.
That's exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That is the same lot that is, we're talking about right now.
There's the culvert part.
Yep. That and the extending up Hill Street from there.
Yeah.
That was cleared, that whole area?
Pretty much everything outside of the wetlands.
Oh, my goodness.
Hmm.
Oh, we
Fun
gotta,
stuff.
we gotta see this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, so if you can get out there, with or without Nick, yeah, please do. Well, like I said, I'll try to get out there Friday afternoon myself. Moving on under communications, school sewer reroute MISA update.
Yeah, so this is the same sewer reroute that we've been talking about by Samoset Middle School and Fallbrook Elementary. DPW has been working with Oxbow Associates, is the contractor who was, they do wetland delineations and things like that. Basically, a quick update for anyone that hasn't been here. The area in question is an estimated or a known habitat for endangered species. I can't remember the exact parlance there, but there's endangered species habitat there, specifically wood turtle. So if there's any work that's going to be proposed in an area that's home to a known endangered species, they need to, whoever's doing the work there needs to develop a wildlife protection plan for that specific species. to accommodate its breeding cycles, its lifestyle, and things like that. So they need to come up with a wildlife or a species protection plan for wood turtle out there before they can proceed with the reroute. They haven't, so the DPW is the entity that's handling all that, and they're the ones that are requesting the permission from us to proceed with the work out there. They've been working with Oxbow Associates, and they just have not been hearing any updates from them. So last week I asked John Roseberry of DPW to send me along their contact information, and that I would reach out to them. I sent them an email late last week telling them that the commission is asking about it and is kind of anxious to get the work started down there. And I haven't heard anything back from them myself, so I'm going to be emailing them again this week and calling them until I get a response, and then hopefully we'll have more to report on March 12th.
All right.
Nick, where is that sewer line presently exposed?
So Fall Brook runs kind of parallel to Union Street and then goes down along like the Chico into the school property
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So the sewer crossing crosses underneath Fall Brook there in 2 locations.
Okay.
And the one that's further upstream is severely eroded away. That you can see the pipe in the stream, whereas it normally should be, fully buried below the stream bed. I think that probably occurred following the flooding in September when we got big rushes of water down all the waterways and carried away a lot of sediment. So that's been exposed like that for several months now.
Mhm.
There's no leak, there's no contamination of the brook at this point, but the pipe
This is
is.
sanitary?
Yes, it's a sewer pipe. But the pipe is fully exposed there. The DPW is proposing disconnecting that line, and because there's 2 lines that cross the brook in that area, and the one line they were going to remove that crossing and then tie it into the other crossing that's further downstream, and
Okay.
so just bring it down to one
Okay, yeah.
stream crossing there. And remove like the exposed pipe and all that. So that's the plan, that's why it's being held up. I don't know why Oxbow has not responded to DPW or myself, but I'll be bugging them this week.
So it's further south of the intersection where Fallbrook runs under Chico Drive.
Yeah.
It's like an athletic field behind the church. And then
Yes. It's kind of down.
Oh, the old
It's
church.
beyond-
You're talking about
There's
the,
a Pentecostal church there.
yeah,
and-
right,
and
yeah, there's a softball field.
there's like an athletic field there, and then there's Fallbrook beyond that.
But it's not, this is up on the
It's
hillside.
it's
going
not
down.
that location.
No, it's up
Although-
on Samoset going
Okay.
from the
Okay,
hillside
it's
down.
all right,
Hmm.
okay.
Bob, you have
Thanks.
something?
Yeah, it just hit me that I'm wondering if maybe that they're waiting for when they actually come out. Maybe they know the time, maybe there's a history of when these turtles come out of the sand and then they travel, and then take off in spring or something. Maybe that's what they're waiting to delineate or.
They can at least return us emails.
Yeah, there was one,
We're getting ghosted, they're not responding to anybody, so.
when DPW forwarded me their email address, there was one communication from Oxbow mentioning something about their breeding cycles. Like, I can't remember what the specifics are, but part of the year they're in the stream, part of the year they're kind of outside of the stream.
Okay.
So there was some communication and some discussion about that, but then that was the last communication that I've seen or DPW has heard from them since
Well,
then.
that's understandable, but if you've got an open sewer line, that's priority one.
Right.
Just fix it or patch it, so do something in between, I don't
Yeah,
know.
and normally that would have been done, we would have the authority to issue an emergency certificate and get that done quick, but we're kind of, our hands are tied.
Yeah,
because
the
of
endangered species kind of trumps all at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not open sewer
Right,
like it's.
exactly, yeah.
That's not.
It could get there, but right now it's not, so.
It's just
Exposed.
exposed
Yeah.
to, the surface
Is it
is
a-
exposed.
Corrugated steel pipe down? Or is it?
It's a I think it's PVC,
Because it's not gonna rust and, okay.
yeah.
Okay, all righty. Anyway, moving on, so hopefully we'll hear soon, I appreciate it.
Yep. And again, if this or any other project, if any of you haven't seen this personally and you have an interest in seeing it, just please reach out to me and I can schedule a site visit with any of you down there. So,
Okay.
because it is something to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next one, 16 Wildflower Stormwater Report Update.
Yes, so as y'all might remember, this, McCarty had come to us, over a year ago for a single-family house there. We denied the order, they appealed it, so they've been going through the appeal process with Mass DEP since then. We had a site visit several months ago, almost a year ago now.
Yeah.
And they've been communicating back and forth with McCarty, getting additional information. So the last thing that I had heard, Kim Roth, who was the person at Mass DEP who was assigned to this case, she had requested some additional information from McCarty. McCarty had since sent that back to them. That was about a month ago. And since then, DEP hasn't requested any more information. McCarty hasn't sent any more. Seemingly, they've gotten all the information they need to make a judgment on the appeal. But they just I haven't heard back from Mass DEP, kind of similar to someone else made that
That
comment.
correspondence was the letter that was in the file for this meeting?
Yes, I believe so. And then, yeah, so it might have been missing the most recent communication, which was again from McCarty, and they were just following up, saying, just checking into the progress of this, if you need more information. And as far as I've seen, Mass DEP did not respond to that either. So I think they have everything they need. They just need time to work through it and make the call. So that's the status of it.
All right.
Cool.
All right, thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
No problem.
Moving on, under Commission Policy, Wetlands Protection Act Enforcement Policy.
Yeah, so I drafted a quick thing, I put it on the drive. I can run across and print that out real quick. I meant to have those printed out for everyone to review in here. If you have your cell phones, you can view the drive, we can do it that way, or if you want me to print stuff off, we can take like a quick break and I'll be right back.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind looking at it. We'll take a 5-minute break.
I read it on the drive, but don't have it.
Yeah, I forgot, I didn't get a chance to look at it, so yeah, if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
right back.
Take a 5-minute break. All right, so
That was
First
cute.
one.
why don't we take a minute, to glance this over.
Yeah. So take a moment to read it over. It's very bare bones. Anything that you'd like to change or add to it, and I can kind of make this more official looking.
Is this a Nick Crump rant and rave, or did you get this from some kind of
No, this-
DEP guidance? This is just you?
All totally original.
All right, super.
Well, misspellings and all.
You might just leave a little more option open, that, it's the last one, failure to follow up in the agreed upon manner may result in enforcement order. Could say the commission might decide on enforcement order regardless. Does that exclude us from issuing an enforcement order if we're, if we were really, really bothered by it, why would we wait 60 days? So perhaps we want to keep that more open.
Okay. I think I was thinking more in terms of like an after the fact NOI, where it's like a homeowner, something like that, that can be our official. I just want to maintain some consistency across cases, So,
Understood. And I like what you wrote.
yeah. So,
But
I think that's just for like an after the fact case where, we're trusting or we're basically trusting like a homeowner or whoever it is that they weren't aware of their requirements and they go forward. If it's like a blatant disregard for things by like a larger property owner or someone that really should know,
So,
you know, the laws, then we can have a different policy maybe, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I don't like that idiomatic expression, follow up. It's vague and
Yes.
weak. So you did change the first instance to response, but, you know, response is a stronger verb.
Mhm.
So, you know, the 60 days to, do you want to use a stronger verb there too?
Instead of follow, to respond to the
To respond.
commission.
Yes.
To respond and to respond to what? Yeah.
So I'll change all the follow-ups to respond or response, depending on
The context.
Yeah.
One very minor edit in the second bullet where it says it should be 2 business days,
yes.
very minor.
I'm not sure we should necessarily separate the different types of owners as to how we treat them.
Mm-hmm.
Might be open to it, but not sure we should.
Where is that, Rich?
It's not, it was implied by
Just,
something.
something
that
was,
said.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I don't think we should have formal differences, but we may be more likely to enforce on some people than others.
On some situations than others,
Yeah, yeah,
if I may.
appropriate, thank you. Yeah, if we're seeing, you know, same names coming up.
Mhm.
I'm a little
Well,
concerned.
plus if there's consequences of this, and an impact, detrimental impact as a result of their
Mhm.
failure to get an NOI.
Do you wanna, so in that first block, this is sort of a formatting comment, do you wanna, get rid of that single, you get a single point on that first block,
Yeah.
that first bullet?
Mhm.
You wanna just get rid of it
Sure.
and fold that second sentence into the first, or not fold it in,
Make
but
it
into the.
one long bullet then?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. The final copy of this will come in the form of, you know, several paragraphs or whatever. It'll be more fleshed out.
I like bullets.
You like bullets?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good with bullets.
Very digestible.
Mhm.
But,
True.
but if we're gonna pick at format,
Mhm.
it seems, so like, the top bullet is like an acknowledgement of this is an after-the-fact issue.
Mhm.
And then I feel like everything else is sort of part of
Follows
that,
from that.
right? Where like your second and third dark bullets
Mhm.
are, by not having them under the same thing, it makes it look like it's separate than an after-the-fact thing.
Mhm.
So
That,
you would
you know.
have no
Yeah.
bullet for the first bullet, it's the intro sentence, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Honestly,
that would be a way to solve
Honestly,
that.
what I would have, I would just have,
Well, just
I would
take
have
the-
6 black bullets.
Take the black bullet on the second black bullet and move it over,
Yeah,
indent it, and make it a.
right, and then
Oh,
the
chops.
unfilled circles below
Yeah,
that
just-
would go in.
Why indent, just make it 6 black bullets.
It's just all
Make
one
it easy,
sentence
yeah.
after another, after another.
Yeah.
No difference.
Yeah, to make it truly readable, if you get some nice pretty pictures, we got white space and bullets, and I always need pretty pictures. I'm just joking.
I continue to propose a last bullet, adding one that says this policy does not prevent the commission from issuing an enforcement order earlier if circumstances.
I like that,
dictate.
I like that. Yep. no, no,
Because this is
no.
what we'll typically do, but if somebody really rips up the environment, we're not gonna wait 60 days to go in and do something protected from
Right.
washing
Yeah,
away
no.
again, no way.
I like that
So
one.
this, for example, the one Hillary type area,
Yeah,
we wouldn't wanna wait 60 days for action.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Okay.
I got a suggestion, Nick.
Mhm.
Just because I'm getting a little perturbed about how this is all coming about month after month,
Mhm.
after the fact. It's almost like a climate that's been set as a precedent to, well, we'll do this and then worry about it later.
Mm.
Mhm.
So I'm not liking
the first sentence where the situation where it is granted and after the fact. I don't like to use the word granted. I'd like to use, a project or something else.
Being evaluated.
Approving, and we
Sure.
approve.
Yeah,
or-
evaluate.
How about, may find yourself in a situation where it is being asked to provide an after-the-fact order conditions?
Sure.
Something like that.
I like that, Jim.
And then, not that it's a
Or
wild.
being asked to approve an after-the-fact order conditions or something like that.
Or asked to approve work after the fact. So don't use after the fact as an adjective, but
Yep.
as, put it in its proper place in speech.
Well, I kind of think that first sentence you got is just to kind of describe what you're gonna go through here. I don't know if you're writing a ordinance or regulation that you.
No, this is the policy.
Yeah.
This is just the policy.
It's just, but that is, it was just a very stream of consciousness.
Right, yeah,
type
I
of thing.
understand
Yeah,
that.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't like the after the fact, you can just leave it as already done, it's kind of redundant.
Yeah, I think.
And this is what you get when you bring it in and ask 1, 2, 3, 4, 6
No, I
people
love,
to
this
edit
is
your-
why, this is what I want.
I'm
This is what I
I
Karen.
thought you were just setting up the situation with that first paragraph. And
Because
then
It is.
these bullets
Yeah.
are, so you don't need that if that's a policy of sharing with the
Yeah.
public, right? You just need the bullets.
Yeah, that wouldn't need to be, included as a part of that official policy, it's just like, some context.
And did we ever get anywhere on trying to make some, like have something, handouts, right, that we have over at the building department that they can give to people who are requesting
That's
permits?
a good one.
I do actually have some pamphlets that I printed out.
Pamphlets are good. I love a
Supposed to
pamphlet.
let
You
people
guys
know.
know
I
that.
think
Love a good trifold pamphlet.
Some of you were, one sec.
So the folks on camera are seeing how the sausage is made right now. Not a pretty picture all the way.
What do you think about putting some meat into it? I mean, what
Speaking of sausage.
what consequences do, they face? I mean, is it a $5,000 fine? Is it a slap on the wrist? Is it, what is it?
I've heard of instances where they make them take the building down. Not in Leominster.
Well, I know a landfill that was stopped from being built, and the company got sued by the county.
Yep.
And I watched a 3-story apartment building be lifted up into the air and moved over 2 feet in the town I grew up in. Because it wasn't a wetland thing, but it was not put however many feet it needed to be from the line, and
Love
we were
that.
little kids and we watched them jack it and move it.
That's pretty cool.
And the landfill one was a company I used to work at, the company went under after
Yeah.
that, so.
So, Bob, were you asking about what are the specific consequences of like an enforcement?
Yeah, I mean, if you're to read it, and if you're reading it, like, oh, that's deterrent there, more or less, I better pay attention. Kind of a shocking, not a shocking, but realistically, what is there?
I think that's something
Yeah.
subject to Mass General Law.
Well, if we're to do that, then you have to get some guidance on the DEP on.
Well, I can make explicit
Yeah.
possible consequences of it, which would, I'm not as well versed with because we haven't pursued much enforcement as this commission, but, some of those consequences could include like restoring the area back to its previous state, incurring fines by like refusing to do so. So there are specific actions that could be taken, consequences that could happen. I can list those.
Yeah, I
Even the
appreciate
verbiage
it. I'm sorry.
Fines gets people's attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you could say up to, just to give it some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some
Gravitas,
variation in.
50
no, well,
years.
in-
Ways in
Leeway.
Yeah, some leeway in what's appropriate in a situation by situation basis. This is great. Can we, like, ask building department to be like on an ally, right?
Yeah, they do steer a lot of people to my office.
I thought they did, I thought they knew to, were they of that or not, it's another question.
No, they do know too, but I think that would be helpful to place.
And remind them.
Yeah.
Sitting on the counter.
Because I have a little, like a little plastic thing that you can set pamphlets in that's just at the front of my office now, ever since I printed those out. So I can give a similar one to building, just to like have on their front desk.
That would be great.
Because then if you're not, even if you're not, because if you're not going for a building permit at a specific property, like that's when they push people to my office, is when they see the lot that they're proposing and they're like, oh, I know this is by the river, or I know they're gonna have to talk to Nick to do this, so then they steer my way. If the pamphlets are just out, then anyone coming in for any general thing, even if it's not for that specific thing they're coming in for, it's like a reminder, like, this is a thing that you need to do, so.
Yeah, I think it helps with the honest mistakes.
Yes.
People that really just didn't know.
Yes.
On the enforcement policy, I'm agreeing with Bob's concept. This basically gives the roadmap how to do it after the fact. We're literally, and as Jim implied, we're literally telling people how to do that. Do we really want to, or do we, without, you'd have to put in some kind of weight or penalty, otherwise, this is how you get permission afterwards, instead of, you know.
Forgiveness after.
Forgiveness instead of permission. It's the forgiveness method.
Yes,
So
and I think,
be careful on the road we're
Right.
taking it,
Right.
in that sense.
well, hopefully, if we do put in some language about potential fines, other repercussions, that maybe
Yeah.
it'll deter people from doing it after the fact.
That could be in it, but there should be a
The
reason
fact that you
for
have
it.
already done this work does not guarantee that the
That-
work will be permitted.
That is the first thing, and that there will not be other repercussions.
You will be asked to move the chicken shed.
Well,
I got questions about that, I wanna know about.
Hypothetical chicken shed.
Yeah, I mean, there's been like a couple chicken sheds.
There's a couple, one's still pending, and then the one that did move, I guess, and, okay.
You all said, Nick? I'll wait till you're done writing.
No, I'm good.
And
I
we
do
have,
have
but
another
I
one.
think potentially could ask somebody to restore. We kinda got close, we did get close to it on, what was the one near West End Diner with the hillside?
Oh,
Because they
yeah.
had to grass that right away,
Yeah.
right? So that was when we did ask them to restore it to something that was better,
Yep.
and without waiting 60 days.
He did it right away, though. He
Yeah.
had the money and did it right away.
I would suggest, just in interest of time, I know we
Yeah.
talked about this quite a bit, some really good conversation. If you have any further edits or comments, please forward them to Nick. And then it's some upcoming meeting, just,
Yeah, access the drive.
Yeah.
This will be on the drive file
Okay.
from this meeting. I'll put it again, or whatever updated version of this, I will put on to the next
The March 12th.
meetings file, so. Yeah,
Okay.
please make edits to the
Good.
drive.
alrighty. Appreciate you doing that, Nick, that's good, I like that very much.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Or email, or if it's easier, email me any
Whichever.
ideas that you think
Yep.
of, yeah.
All right, good. Moving on, under outreach, next nature walk, March 28th at Babe Ruth Fields. Before we get to have Nick get to that though, I went on the walk last week, Thursday, Friday?
Thursday.
Thursday. The winter tree ID walk up at the Doyle Conservation Area. Very well done. We were there for just about an hour and I had to leave. And it was starting to get twilightish and people must have had 50 people there.
Wow.
It was insane.
Someone came up to me after and said they counted, and they counted 67 people.
So there you go.
Whoa!
It was amazing.
Thank you, thank
It was amazing. He's doing
Wow.
fantastic work.
Yeah, that was by far the most
Yeah.
at that point, and this like blew that out of the water. so.
And he wasn't just talking about well, he could talk about leaves. We were talking mostly buds because there's no leaves on trees. But he went into growth habits and the way the tree grows and all this. So it was very informative. It was informative for me. I was a forestry major. I worked in landscaping for several years. So it was very, it was a good time. I wish I could have stayed for the whole thing. I had to leave when he was talking about the big spiky balls on this weekend. Unfortunately.
Yeah, you just learned how to drive copper nails in the trees to kill them.
Yeah, why don't we-
So we learned
why don't we go?
And that's not what I did first.
Okay, so
Anyway, go ahead. So go on.
one time at March 28th?
Yes.
So they'll be on March 28th at 4 p.m.
And that's what it was last week.
Yeah, if it's on a Thursday, it'll be at 4 p.m., which I believe it is. So
Yeah.
that'll be a vernal pool walk. Some nice vernal pools down there.
I went on the vernal pool one last year. Unfortunately, spring hadn't advanced as quickly, and everything was still frozen.
Not about a foot of snow.
Oh well, try. It was a fun walk in the woods in the snow anyway.
Ship through the ice through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's warm enough, we should have the spring peepers will be
Yeah.
out, the little frogs. So
Yeah.
there'll be lots of activity out there.
There's some wood frog eggs.
maybe some wood frog eggs, maybe some fairy shrimp.
Yeah.
I saw a beaver down there last year.
Really?
You might find a beaver.
Fun.
Yeah.
Wood turtle.
Yeah, you might find some wood turtles.
You had nice dimension to this commission's work, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's very appreciated,
Nice.
very appreciated.
Thank you for that.
I agree.
It's really good having somebody that is really interested in this and really, and knows their stuff, so, thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Any questions about the block? No? Okay. All right, partial eclipse viewing stations, April 8th.
Yeah, so we had mentioned this before. Steph, I don't think you've been here for any of the discussion, but there's a total solar eclipse going across the U.S. on April 8th. Have you heard about this? Okay. You're in that.
I haven't heard about
Yeah,
much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Only
You're
ab-
into science.
Only above the 46th parallel.
So there's the eclipse is coming across the U.S. It's not going to be a total eclipse from Leominster. However, you can still view the partial eclipse from here. So we had talked about setting up some viewing stations. I've been working actually with Johannes at Leominster TV, putting together some different programming, some like nature-based programming. So we're putting together a little episode for the eclipse to just kind of spread word about that. It's like a cool science thing. It's a nice reminder that, you know, we're on this one planet, this finite planet.
This one round planet.
Yes, exactly.
Little blue dot.
Yes. So it's a nice little reminder of that. I think it's, you know, a really cool kind of once in a lifetime event. So we'll have different viewing stations. I'll have some pinhole projectors and eclipse glasses and things so people can safely view the partial eclipse from here. But
You're not gonna be here, right?
I will be in Texas
There you go.
watching it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Up in New Hampshire, there's guys that use their telescopes, and they got these special lenses, and you can look right into the
Yes.
telescope with
Yeah.
Yeah, the last partial one, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, the company I was working at, gentleman was an astronomer, and had one of those, had a telescope right, we brought it in the parking lot, and there was 50 of us looking at the eclipse, looking right at it, it was great.
Yeah. We talked about, there's some people at Leominster TV, they may or may not have a telescope available, and there's a thing you can do to like, it's called the cone projector, where you like basically put this apparatus at the end of the telescope and some fabric over the top of it, and the image is projected onto the fabric, so you can see like the crescent of the eclipse as it's coming through.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How-
I think the library has a telescope. I don't know how nice it is, but
That'll be good.
I think there is a telescope in their library of things.
I will ask Alex, the librarian, about that.
What portion of the eclipse can we see here, do you know?
At the greatest coverage, it will be, the disk of the sun will be 95% covered.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
good one.
pretty good.
So it'll look
That's a
pretty
pretty
cool.
good one, yeah.
If you don't have eclipse glasses or pinhole projector to safely view it, and you didn't know what was happening, you might not know. It really doesn't get much darker until you're getting to that full total eclipse. But it'll be really cool to see like through the eclipse glasses or through a
Yeah.
pinhole. You'll be able to see like little crescents being projected.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
pretty cool.
All right, fun stuff.
Yeah.
When is this?
April 8th. It's a Monday. It'll be, the greatest eclipse from here will occur at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Okay.
something like that.
All right. But typically midday-ish anyway, wouldn't it?
It kind of depends on where you are.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's happening at the same time all around the Earth.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah,
it'll
right.
last several hours from when it first starts until when the moon crosses completely out of the sun. It'll be a few hours, so.
Okay.
Anyone that's, we'll talk more about it as we get there, but I figured maybe have someone downtown. I was thinking of the Common, but they have all that ongoing work down there, so
Yeah.
that'll still be closed, but someone down at City Hall, maybe someone down at Barrett Park, just kind of grabbing people walking by that might not know about it, or might not have the means to view it, and just being like, hey, this is happening. By the way, we're part of the Conservation Commission, is what we do, so kind of getting the word out that
Yeah.
way, so.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Fun. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah. So anyone that's up for volunteering for that, talk to me and we can get more of those plans solidified closer to April.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All right, moving on. Next item, meeting minutes. So there were 2 meeting minutes on the drive. Everybody get a chance to look at those?
Yes.
Yeah, I had some very minor edits, I saw you in a couple of areas.
Minor stuff.
Yeah.
One of them saw something that was contradictory, it seems, you have to clear it up.
I haven't had a chance to look at them, but I will review those.
So for December 12th, 2023, were there any comments before we make a motion to approve it?
Just to approve it with the edits.
Right.
With the edits.
And what needs clarifying.
So, okay, then entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for December 12th, 2023, as amended and edited on the drive.
As-
You
Okay,
said-
go ahead.
I'll make that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see, yeah, thank you, Jim, is there a
All
second?
right.
I'm gonna second it.
Thank you,
Okay.
Bob.
I'll take the commission's vote by roll call. Jim Chambers,
Aye.
Stephanie Quinlan.
I was not there,
Oh,
so I
okay.
withhold my vote.
Respectfully,
Oh, you still said aye.
I'm not voting.
All right.
The other
So,
eye.
we got one aye, one abstention. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Richard Gulick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
and I.
All right, so that's 5-0 with one abstention. Okay. Motion passed.
Was that somebody's phone?
No, it's me,
It's you.
my hearing.
Oh,
Um,
all right, we're all good, that was, thank you.
My
Sorry.
website's buzzing.
All right, moving on then, unless there's any conversation about the minutes for January 9th, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the January 9th, 2024, as edited and amended on the drive.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Richard. Is there
I'll
a second?
second it.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, I'll take the commission's vote by roll call. Jim Chambers.
Aye.
Steph Quinlan,
Staying.
abstain. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Richard Gulick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Okay,
Good.
5-0 with one abstention.
And under commission news, I just have a couple ones. One, I was driving, I was coming up from 190 up Route 12 towards a meeting. I went over, I assume it's Fallbrook. I think it would be, I'm like, I wonder what name of that brook is. I think it's Fallbrook. Can we get signs for those brook crossings for roads?
Well, there's a big project coming gonna do all over.
No, I know, but-
So I'm just saying,
yeah,
they're
but
gonna do
it-
Central Street all
Yeah,
over. and
like where roads cross,
Because they have to rebuild that bridge right there.
yeah.
But just in general.
In general, I think
Getting
it would
those
be,
for across the
I think
city.
it'd be great, yeah, one on each side of the road. Just say, just so when people could, if you're going through there at 40 miles an hour, you not even gonna see the guardrail or the concrete barrier or whatever that's gonna go, not even knows the stream there.
Yeah.
Just raise awareness of streams and brooks and the.
Yeah, that's in the mind, that puts me in the mind of like the catch basins that have the little plaque that says like this
Drain-
goes to.
Don't dump drains to the
whatever,
ocean.
yeah.
Well, we'll drain to the ocean here. but-
No, that's a,
Good, will require DET approval, possibly.
So what was that?
DOT?
DOT approval?
Yeah.
It'll
Well,
depend.
State.
Yes,
Yeah.
depending on the road.
Yeah, if we get this done, this will not happen quickly at all. But just.
Or necessarily by us, but you
Yeah.
can catalyze.
Right, exactly, yeah.
No, that's,
I think we raise awareness and I think it would be very, very helpful.
There are a lot of places where the roads follow the streams. Leominster is not one of those places.
Where, I'm sorry, where what?
Where the roads are built along streams.
Oh, yeah.
Leominster is not one of those
No.
places. So like,
No.
you cross the stream 100 times going through, driving through
Right.
town. But
Yeah.
Yeah, most-
Fallbrook's a good example. It's sort of like, there aren't any roads.
That's cool, we won't have to design that many signs.
Yeah.
No, you have to design a lot of them because
No,
it's
it'll
also.
be the same sign,
Oh,
over and over again.
Different types.
Right,
Yeah.
just, sure.
Copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like coming down Route 70 towards Lancaster, where the Nashua River's right there.
Yeah.
I think there's a sign there that says Nashua River, so people go, oh.
Along the National, right, I think that's the one, like the highways built along the
Yeah.
National River.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the only exception, that and no, I think that's the only one I can think
Yeah.
of. Like even the
And this-
Monadnock Brook, like it sort of snakes through town,
Yeah.
like there's no,
Yeah, there's, New Hampshire's big enough, like 101 up in Milton, someplace, or 101A, where the Kentucky River is, no, not the Kentucky. Anyway, it's, yeah, there's a lot of places in New Hampshire where this river goes along the road.
right,
They
right.
parallel for quite a while.
It's interesting
Kinda
that,
neat, yeah.
that doesn't happen in Leominster. It's just, the roads cross the streams
Yeah.
100 times, but none of
And,
them follow.
yeah, and the other thing I want to add, and I said this last time, and I failed miserably. Stephanie, just to catch you up, so we, as you know, we've got this effort, we want to try to develop our own bylaw.
Yeah,
I think the best way to do that would be for us to put together like a wish list of things we'd like to see in a bylaw.
okay.
So, and I've got to tell myself to do that again, but if anybody, if you, just, you don't have to tell us now, but if you can, if you think of any wish list to put in a bylaw, send it to Nick, we can put those together, figure out what we can realistically do, and then we can look into assistance from DEP or MACC or somebody to help us actually develop a bylaw. Like I keep mentioning Falmouth, I downloaded their bylaw onto my laptop. I've got this PDF sitting there, I just need to go through it,
Yeah.
see what they do, and then pull a few things out. So if there are any, I would suggest download somebody else, some other town's bylaw if you can, and go through and see what they do. Might be an easy way to. Or, I know with Wildflower Lane, one of the big, around Wildflower Road, one of the big things there was that almost the whole property was in the buffer. And that was kind of the thing that stuck in our craw.
Yeah.
How could we address that? I don't know, but so that we maybe put in, one of the wishes should be, you know.
I was, I made a mental note to email that to Nick, like, the
Yeah.
one thing I want
Yeah.
to see in a bylaw.
Yeah.
So other towns do things like, there's like a no-touch zone, or for the first like 10 or 15 feet where like nothing
Something.
is
Mhm.
allowed except for maybe like special permit or
Yeah.
whatever. But there's things that we could do.
Yeah, like I remember with Falmouth, every time somebody got a order of conditions, at the site they had to post it. Not just the DEP number, they had to post the order of conditions at the job site. I would love to see that.
Mhm. Yeah.
The number and the order of conditions, anybody walking by or driving by can.
Or of
okay.
like the contractors, anyone who, hasn't been involved with like large scale things will be able to see right on the site,
Yep.
if there are any conditions that are relevant to
Yeah.
work that they're doing.
Yeah. And one of the things, like Falmouth, I don't think it should be appropriate for us, but Falmouth, like if their property owners are putting up a fence near one of the inland ponds, the fence had to be at least a foot off the ground. The bottom of the fence had to be at least a foot off the ground to allow for ducks to go into the fence, because ducks will not fly over a fence.
Specific, but I love it, sure,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Boxes can go under the fence too.
Yeah.
I took a look at the bylaws for Leominster, and presently there's very little environmental, anything regarding the environment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Mr. Bedanza brought it to our attention that there is a ordinance that they.
The stormwater.
Stormwater ordinance, yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
probably the most impactful to the environment, like
Right.
directly to the environment.
Yeah.
I haven't read many of the other
I-
ordinances beyond stormwater,
Oh,
but.
man, but speaking of stormwater and like everything that Leominster has gone through
Mhm.
in the last year, I would love to see, more, like, something in the bylaw that gives us more ability to say yes or no to projects as we believe they may pertain to stormwater, water management,
Mhm.
drainage. Like, that'd be cool to use that as part of like the teeth to it, you know what I mean? Like, this is important because of everything we've gone through.
Mhm. And that would be, that would be a good avenue of doing it, because it's like a very present thing in people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
As I
And what-
mentioned earlier, it'd be great to address the asking for forgiveness instead of permission concept, the
Mhm.
after-the-fact actions.
Yeah.
And how strict do we want to be and under what circumstances?
Yep.
Because we can't continue, Bob, this has even come up before you got on the board. We keep asking the same thing, how do we stop that?
Yeah.
How do we communicate, get enough word out? Nick had mentioned in one of them, looking at the minutes, what were the special conditions? I think our conditions should be reviewed.
Mhm.
We told you we wouldn't ask you, Nick, when you first came on board, we'd give you some time.
At that time.
I can remember editing it myself back before you, with Angela as the agent. Didn't have too many suggestions, didn't do it, but I thought it could be shortened a bunch.
Yeah.
It's like 5 pages, our
Oh, those conditions.
conditions.
Yeah, like-
That's the setup.
Yeah,
The boilerplate
you want it
conditions
short
you
enough that
referred
people
to?
will
The
read
bo-
it.
the boilerplate, right. That's, so I think it could
Right.
use some distinct work project.
I know,
which could
yeah,
go
I-
in concert with the bylaw
Yeah.
development.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
To do both at
yep,
once.
agreed. Yeah, another wish list thing, that you've heard me say many times, you know, ask the applicant if they're planning on planting native species. I think we should make that more of a feature in our conditions.
You always do, Chuck.
Yeah, yeah,
You've had that covered.
yeah. Well, it should be in writing, not just out of the mouth of the stupid
It may be.
chair.
It
Yeah.
may be.
All right, anyway, so yeah, so any wishes that, keep track of them, send them to Nick, do whatever you want, and well, maybe what we should do is set a specific date by which we will have amassed these wish list items, then we can start.
Yep, come up with a timeline.
Yeah.
Before we start wrapping up here, I do, under Commissioner News, I do have an emergency
that's right.
certification I would like to ask you to ratify. So, at 23 Westminster Avenue, which is off of North Street in North Leominster, there was a accidental release of heating oil into someone's yard and an adjacent wetland.
Oh.
So
60 gallons, 24-hour notice, right?
yeah,
What?
they
No,
were
60 gallons, that's 2 hours.
The 2 hours?
That's a 2-hour game.
the property
Anything
owner.
over 5 gallons. is-
What day?
is 2 hours.
It was January 10th, so it was the day after our last meeting.
What was the address?
23 Westminster.
It was residential, I assume.
It was a residential.
Yeah.
So
You know what the LSP is that listed on there?
yeah, it's New England Disposal Technologies,
No.
Inc.
They have an LSP.
I don't think they do. They usually contract with somebody
I would
else.
think so, yeah.
Uh-huh,
There was a big one over on Myrtle Ave over here too.
yeah. Can I-
Or
can
it
I
might
see
be
that?
it might be Joe Jamala.
Oh, yeah, he's an LSP, yeah, I know Joe.
Mike, I'm gonna email him.
Oh
You should've called me.
yeah.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
So that occurred on January 10th.
No.
The homeowner was walking his dog that morning and had discovered it, so it had happened sometime during the night or early that morning. I went to the site, Mass DEP got there soon after I got there.
Was it an overfill situation? Were the tanks
No.
until we get basements?
Yeah, how did it get outside?
At-
How did
at
the
night.
lawn?
There was some kind of it was an old tank and one of the connections
Is the
had
tank
failed.
outside the house?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
And
So
not-
Tank release, not during a fill.
No, it just
No,
happened.
tank
Nothing else was
failure.
going on. It just failed. Yeah.
Oopsie.
So that happened. I was out there with Mass DEP. For anyone that doesn't know, when I can't remember the amount, but when there's a release of oil over a certain amount, then Mass
5
DEP,
gallons.
5 gallons, Mass DEP takes over the cleanup oversight of that. So I've been in communication with them. They just got someone out there this week to begin the cleanup and removal of contaminated soil and all that. So New England Disposal Technologies is the contractor performing that work. They had arrived there yesterday, got everything set up, and then they were set to start today. So I issued them the emergency certification already because they needed to get started today. Just asking you all to ratify that. So that's for 60 days ending on April 27th, by which time they should have everything cleaned up. So, with the vote.
So you want a motion to approve,
To, ratify.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, so I entertain a motion then to ratify the emergency certification for the oil release at, 23 Westminster Ave.
Make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Second? Mr. Butler?
All right, I'll take the commission's vote by roll call. Jim Chambers,
Aye.
Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
Nick Venti,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Richard Gulick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right. 6-0, and we'll just pass that around and
Yep.
How close is the house to the wetland?
25 feet, 20 feet. The yard kind of goes into this wooded swamp.
Yeah.
So, I got pictures.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love
All
to
right.
see those. You wanna throw those up on the drive?
Anything else for Commissioner News?
Questions? Commissioner, question?
Sure.
I'd like to get an update on Harwood Terrace.
Harwood Terrace.
Hillary.
Oh, so, yeah, no news. No news is good news. There's been no additional flooding or reports of flooding. I know that the property owner was expecting a slight slowdown in the progress of work up there. But they still have another year, I think another year from this coming April to complete that work up there. So it'd be like April 2025. It might be April 20, no, it was, yeah, because it was issued in 2022, I believe. So they would have until 2025 to complete the work or ask for an extension. So I have not heard anything.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Yeah.
755 North Street.
I have-
The chicken coop one?
Yeah.
I have not heard any updates. I need to reach out to Phil and ask him. He does have until May, some date in May to remove the chicken coop. But I have not heard anything on either direction.
Yeah, last time I drove by, it was
Still there.
Was it
Yeah.
really?
I wasn't there. I haven't been there for a couple of weeks, but last time I was there, it was still
Nick,
there.
please remind us of the decision that was made and the two different possibilities from that. There was a December deadline and a May deadline.
Yeah, so we came to an agreement with Phil that, the property owner, Phil Samos, that he would remove all the alterations from the neighboring property, because he had accidentally done, some alterations to the buffer zone and actual wetlands that on a lot that was a neighboring lot and not his own. So we asked him to remove all that, included like the fire pit, like a raised bed out there, a couple other yard, adjacent things. So we had asked him to remove all of that by May, I believe, and then the chicken coop specifically, we had asked him to remove, so there's two possibilities. He was either going to move the chicken coop from its current location to another area on the property that was more than 50 feet, I believe, from the wetland boundary. And if he was doing that, he would have to do it by December. And if he was just removing the coop altogether, then he had until May to do
So
that.
he has to, so that is the final decision. Would you put that in writing, please?
Yes, I believe it was put in writing.
Remind the property owner that the one deadline is passed,
Mhm.
therefore this decision is now this made, and this is what this commission expects.
Yeah.
By such and such an action, by such and
I
such a date.
agree with you, Rich.
I
Okay.
will do so.
I have a comment on this after I signed it, which is the best time to have a comment.
That's fine.
But, so, they have approval to remove 100 cubic yards of material from the
Mhm.
wetland and or buffer zone for disposal off-site.
Mhm.
And it says new clean fill will be graded to existing soil level and stabilized with grass seed to blend with the existing lawn.
Mhm.
We don't want this to
We don't
turn
want grass
into
seed in the
lawn.
wetland,
Yeah, we
right.
don't want grass seed. We want,
Mm.
like, if they're removing soil from wetland, we want, wetlands, we want that to be preserved.
I could specify,
just
like, in
lawn.
existing lawn area,
Yeah,
maybe add that.
yeah,
Probably all they intended.
yeah, you blend the lawn part with lawn.
That's my
But,
own
like-
messy wording, so
Okay.
I can correct that.
Okay, all right, good.
They're gonna be penalized pretty well with what they have for a mess.
Oh, I hope that they
oil smell.
have
Oof.
this covered under their homeowner's insurance. A lot of people don't.
No.
I do.
What was the volume that was released?
60
gallons.
estimated 60 gallons.
So 5 gallons, the 2 hour release, 5 gallons or more? No. I mean, 2 hour notice. All right, and also with commissioner news, we get that sent away?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so moving on, next meetings, the next meeting will be March 12th, 2024. The filing deadline was this past Friday, February 23rd at noon. And the meeting after that will be March 26th, and the 2024, and the filing deadline will be March 8th, 2024 at noon. That is a Friday as well, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yep,
yeah.
always a Friday.
Right, because this Friday's the first, yeah. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Bob?
Take the commission's vote by roll call. Jim Chambers.
Aye.
Stephanie Quinlan.
Aye.
Nick Venti.
Aye.
Bob Secord.
Aye.
Rich Gullick.
Aye.
And Chuck Raymond.
Aye.